course, we talk a great deal about innovation and creativity, and to some extent about the importance of understanding how you might implement your creative idea. Perhaps you might do it by starting a venture, or creating a new organization, or undertaking an entrepreneurial activity in a larger organization. Given our assertion that ideas only become innovations when they're implemented, and knowing that many people have great ideas, but they don't see the light of day, this raises the question we're going to address in this lesson. Why are so few people and organizations innovative? And why do only 1 in 3,000 ideas actually achieve success? We've discussed some of the issues in previous lessons. In this lesson, we'll share some common misconceptions about the innovation process. These will go some way to explain the underlying reasons for this low success rate. The first misconception is that success depends primarily on having a good idea. In reality, it takes hard work and effort. In the words of Thomas Edison, inventor of the phonograph and the light bulb, genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. As a result of this common misconception, most innovation initiatives focus on ideation, coming up with a good idea, rather than implementation, turning an idea into action plan that results ultimately in market acceptance. In reality, most of the ideas that people come up with don't succeed because they're never attempted or because they're poorly implemented. A second misconception is that an innovator will have a eureka moment and come up with a fully formed brilliant idea on day one. However, in practice this rarely happens. In the words of Alex Bruton, the inographer, in all likelihood, your first idea will really suck. The secret of successful innovation lies in sharing that original idea with other people and encouraging them to give you feedback and then listening to it so that you can improve the quality of the initial idea and ultimately create a unique value that has a much higher likelihood of success than the original idea. Sharing your idea is an essential part of the early stage of building relationships and a business because it demonstrates your willingness to rely on others, an important aspect often linked to coachability and your ability to take feedback that informs the development of your idea, guiding it from initial concept to successful innovation, and demonstrating your ability to use objective feedback to validate your assumption. A third misconception is that success is based primarily on luck. Well, there's no question that luck can play an important role in separating success from failure. As Clay Christensen points out in his book, Competing Against Luck, success comes from a structured approach to understanding what users or customers need. In his case, he uses a jobs to be done framework to help innovators better understand what jobs users hire a solution to do. One of the real benefits of this more systematic approach is that it can help you recognize your new opportunities for your innovation and not just replace an existing solution with something marginally better. Innovators using this framework adopt a number of tools and approaches that help them improve their decision-making process and reduce the likelihood of failure. In this course, we share a number of these tools and approaches to help you improve the quality of your decision at each stage of the process. This increases both the quality of decision outcomes and your confidence in the decisions that you make. Knowing what each tool can do and when it can be used will help guide you through the innovation process. We started this lesson talking about the innovation process and the importance of understanding both exploration, the creative process of coming up with a new idea, and exploitation, which is the hard work involved in implementing your creative idea. Successful innovation comes from recognizing the difference between these two stages of the innovation process. Understanding each stage of the process will help you increase your capacity for innovation and the likelihood that your creative ideas are successfully implemented. The fundamental differences between the exploration stage and the exploitation stage of the process is that at each stage, those involved behave in different ways. They make different decisions and have different expectations about the outcomes of their actions. One interesting insight that comes from our improved understanding of ambassadors' individual creative problem-solving styles is that most people have a preference as to which stage in the process they operate in, either as an explorer or as an exploiter. In practice, there are very few of us who excel at both, because the personality traits and skills that are required are quite different. Explorers see possibilities and make unusual connections. Exploiters focus on detailed implementation and managing resources to achieve a specific outcome. This insight provides a grounding for those developing innovation teams and processes, and goes some way to explain why entrepreneurship is usually a team sport. Innovation teams and entrepreneurs succeed because different members of the teams excel at different functions that are often required at different stages of the process. New ventures would never be successful if they just came up with an idea but couldn't implement it. If you've not guessed it already, I'm much more of an explorer than an exploiter. Steve Blank, the author of 2 books, The Startup Owner's Manual and The 4 Steps to the Epiphany, was one of the first to identify the fundamental differences between exploration and exploitation stages. He describes the exploration stage as the stage when you're looking for the product market fit, developing a repeatable sales model, and finding an implementable business model. Once you've answers to these critical questions, he suggests that during the exploitation phase, you're looking for profitability, how to scale rapidly, and how to reach cash flow break-even. It's increasingly been recognized that an improved understanding of the innovation process leads to higher levels of innovation success. What's also becoming clearer is how a more experimental approach to gathering data or evidence from these 2 stages of the process can increase the likelihood of modifying your technology and go-to-market strategy in a way that enhances the likelihood of achieving success. Let me start by explaining that a better understanding of the innovation process includes a more scientific approach in which hypotheses are developed and then tested. These tests, which we'll call innovation experiments, then provide outcomes in the form of evidence, which can be used to support the initial hypothesis or to reject it. Evidence to support the hypothesis allows for the innovation plan to be further developed and refined, while evidence that rejects the hypothesis can either cause you to stop work on that project or to change the project in a way that is more likely to achieve success. Of course, an alternative hypothesis then needs to be developed, which also has to be tested. An example of this is Flickr. In 2002, Katerina Fake, Stuart Butterfield and Jason Klassen started Ludicor, a massive multiplayer online game with real-time interaction through instant messaging. In 2004, they added a new feature, a chat environment with photo sharing. This quickly surpassed the game Neverending itself in popularity. The team knew they were onto something big and put the game Neverending on hold to develop a new photo sharing community site called Flickr, now one of the most successful Web 2.0 companies in the world, having 120 million users and over 10 billion photos. Paying attention to that evidence was what created their success. Understanding this process and how you learn from it helps innovators gain knowledge, and practicing it allows them to use it more efficiently and effectively. It helps them understand which factors to consider each time and how they change at each stage of the process, and it explains the difference between exploration and exploitation, viewing them as a sequential structured decision process, enabling different hypotheses to be developed and then evidence gathered to support or reject them at each stage. Understanding this allows the innovators to navigate more effectively what is a complex decision process, answering the right question at the right time. So clarity on this process helps you define which question to ask and better understand the nature of the decision to be made at each stage. To illustrate the factors considered involved at each stage, I utilize a framework developed by Maurya called the Lean Canvas. Maurya's Lean Canvas asks, are you addressing a real problem or need? Is there a first customer for your solution? Does your solution offer a compelling and unique value proposition? Does the solution address the identified problem in a novel way? Is there a reliable channel to get your solution to your customer? Will customers or others pay for your solution? And can you deliver the solution cost effectively? Most importantly, does your solution offer a sustainable competitive advantage? As you can see, the first 4 questions relate to the exploration stage, and the second 4 questions relate to the exploitation stage. Understanding these stages and an approach that we call innovation science will help you to reduce the element of luck when applying this process to your innovation. It should help you to enhance your creativity and to become more innovative. Applying this and practicing it on a regular basis will improve your ability to consistently innovate, and it will increase the likelihood that your innovation will have a successful outcome. It will also reduce the amount of time and resources you would otherwise spend on less promising opportunities. I hope that as a result of this lesson, you will better understand how applying an innovation process can enhance your capacity for innovation.